Hi, friends. My name is Amber Siebel. I am the person behind the interviews for the Parents for Transparency Facebook page that is now a website that is now becoming quickly a Southwest Florida movement. And I say that with very little exaggeration. um, the people behind Parents for Transparency have decided to go ahead and come forward with informing the public of who is really behind that page. And they agreed to come together and to introduce themselves and to tell you why the page got started, what the purpose of it is, and tell you where it's going from here. So, without further ado, here they are.
Hi, my name is Ali Olivo. I live and work in Lee County, specifically in Fort Myers, and I have two kids in school in Lee County, a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old. And when everything started to happen with the budget deficits earlier this year, I did what I was told to do and contacted the superintendent and the school board members, attended the school board meeting, wanting answers, wanting to understand the budget process, the decision making for budget allocations, specifically what Edison Park was facing. And I kept meeting dead ends, and instead of receiving responses, I kept getting, non-answers. And when I would push, it felt like there was retaliation against my school and my principal, or the threat of retaliation. And so I went to Amber because she's a marketing genius and knows how to raise awareness. We've worked together for a fundraiser in the past. And I said, hey, this is what I feel like we're up against. It feels insurmountable. It feels like we have this $3 billion gorilla, but there's a lot of parents like you and me and others who want to know who to vote for, who want to understand the reality, not the marketing spin. How do we do that? And I could have never conceived of the website, Parents for Transparency, the information. There had been people on my Facebook feed asking for that type of information, like how do I know who to vote for in the school board election? How do I know who's accepting, PAC money? And then most recently with the teacher wish list, I had, gotten my son's teacher, gotten a bunch of stuff off her wish list. And this is a golden apple winner. These are exceptional teachers that have multiple jobs. Years ago, there was a teacher who's now in the private school system who was a finalist multiple years in a row, and I would see her at Target. And that was the reality. More and more, the teachers who are with our children, 6-8 hours a day, they're not making ends meet. They can't start their families. They don't, have access to living in, where they work. They have to drive 30-40 minutes. And my mom was a teacher for 30 years, and she always said it was her vocation, and she's my hero. And so the fact that people that make the impact that they make are treated by society in this way just has never kind of sat well with me. But yeah, so went to Amber and was like, what can we do? And all the credit to Amber for Parents for Transparency and getting this information and those interviews and just having real conversations so that voters know who the candidates are, and when they go to the poll, they can make informed decisions.
It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. When Allie approached me about doing something with regard to raising awareness for what was going on with the cuts inside the Lee County School District, I had very little interest in helping out. I'm not going to lie. I have 2 children that are in the public school system, but they're going to be fine no matter where they go, even if I have to homeschool them, which is something that I've considered in the last 2 years doing as a result of some of my own frustrations with the Lee County School District. But Allie is an attorney. She's persuasive. And so after Pilates one day, we went and we got some coffee and she sat down with me and she was like, listen, Amber, something needs to happen with this. And I'm willing to help you push it forward if you're willing to get involved. And at that point, I had only really been sharing a couple of things that she had been posting, which I thought was very compelling, and hearing some things. And it was not until I started to do a little bit of digging when I finally agreed to do a Facebook page. I agreed to do a Facebook page and I agreed to post a couple graphics. And I decided to name it Parents for Transparency. She agreed it was a great idea, and that's how it got started. However, in my information gathering process, in order to determine what those graphics would say, I became a bit concerned, to say the least. Just a little bit concerned. I was more than a little bit concerned. And my concern has only grown as I found out more and more information. As I've dug into our candidates, into our current school board, into the situations, into the teacher compensation, into the culture surrounding the teachers, the retaliation that I've heard of regarding anybody that has spoken out in the district. And I thought, you know what? I own my own business. My clients don't really care what I do. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up this torch. And that was it. It started with interviews because I wanted to know exactly what was going on from the people because I didn't want to say the wrong thing. Okay? I wanted to have the full spectrum of information from every single political party and any political party to be able to say, okay, here's the facts. You guys make your own decisions because I'm all about autonomy, making informed choices, and voting for the people that you believe in because this crazy thing of democracy, I don't know. My eyes were opened in those interviews. And still, I tried to remain unbiased and present just a regular round of information. But it just doesn't work. I think that when you have an obligation inside you to serve your community and to serve the public and to do what's right, that you really can't help but do what's right. And so that evolved from interviews, it evolved into a website. It evolved into fact check things. It evolved into teacher stories. It evolved into, which very few people have participated in, which should be a telling thing for you. It evolved into so many things, into pulling political events, into determining who the people are that are sponsoring and endorsing candidates. There's so much more still yet to come that I am building and creating in this website. It is literally from a technical perspective and content creation perspective and graphics, everything is just me right now with a very, very small amount of help from people that have the information. So the information is being funneled from all different places, whether it's, being gathered by AI, whether it's me canvassing websites myself. Every single thing is checked and analyzed to make sure that it's accurate information. Every single thing. It evolved even further when we decided to start adding teacher wish lists because hell, if I was going to let Lee County teachers on a $50,000 to $60,000 salary have to cover their classroom supplies and decor on their own, okay? Yes, these are wish lists, not necessarily needs, but in my opinion, these are needs. Okay, creating an enriching environment where children want to go to every single day to learn is important because I have kids that get bored easily too. And I want them to love going to school as much as I loved going to school. And that means supporting teachers and the supplies that they need and the classrooms that they want to build because they're the experts at the end of the day. So here we are, the people behind Parents for Transparency. If you haven't started following us yet, you better, because there's a lot more to come. I'll tell you what. But thank you for building the momentum with us, for sharing the information, and for holding the district accountable. I hope every single person inside this election, no matter what party, no matter what side, starts to realize that when you don't put teachers, classrooms, and students at the very, very front of your priority list, that the people that can make a lot of noise will start doing that. Because at the end of the day, that's what those tax dollars are allocated for. It doesn't matter what you want to purpose those for based on helping out any other endeavors that you have to develop and theoretically make this county better. Those tax dollars are for our children to learn, to educate, and for the teachers that you as a district have selected to be empowered to make the best decisions for them because they know what's actually happening inside those classrooms. So that's it. I'm Amber Siebel. I am one of the 2 people behind Parents for Transparency, and I am absolutely honored to be serving my community in this capacity. If you would like to get involved in this initiative, it doesn't matter who you are. If you have a kid in the school district, if you don't have a kid in the school district, I don't care. I would love your help, and I would love to continue to support the community. Thank you for supporting our kids and supporting our schools. It matters.